I think all of us sitting in here understand that just by the way that the island has developed, you have villages, say Barnsgut. Barnsgut is sandwiched in an area which all around Barnsgut is some of the most expensive real estate on the island. I looked at a piece of land not far, just there in Paradise, and the quotation they gave me was $10.50 US per square foot. So if the government is to buy that, who's going to afford to buy it? Who's going to afford to buy it from the government? So, as much as I would like to sit here in St. Thomas's and tell the people of St. Thomas's, listen man, don't worry, we're going to bring more housing. We can't build the housing in the sky. We have to find land to build the housing on. And unless there are people in St. Thomas's who are landowners who are prepared to say, listen, for the good of the country, we're prepared to sell you land at a reasonable price so that the government can provide housing, there's very little that we can do. Because even if we were to go to some landowners and decide that we will compulsorily acquire their land, the law says that we must pay market value. So we're back to square one at 10 and 15 US dollars a square foot. It is a very difficult position to be in. What I will say is that in the context of Barnsgut, we have been trying to negotiate. In fact, I think we have come to an agreement to do a land swap with a landowner in the area who we are prepared to give them some land that government owns elsewhere in order for some land in the Barnsgut area. And through that, we hope to expand. That process was well in train. We came to a halt because the lands that he identified that he wants in exchange, those lands are caught up in this confusion with Trinidad and the bank in Trinidad and all that happened. That was before our time. I'm not here for the politics, but bad decisions have consequences, and that's one of the consequences. So we are dealing with that to see how we can extricate those lands to make them available for that land swap. But beyond that, you know, when you look at St. Thomas's, where are we going to go? From Jessop's? If you head towards Charlestown, you're going into Four Seasons. We can't afford that. If you go up the hill, you're going into Fern Hill, you're going into where? Newfoundlands? We can't afford that. You come into Barnsgut now, I see some big fence and thing put up in Barnsgut because somebody went and bought lands over there, but the price of the lands is the difficulty. And we need land if we're going to do housing.